comments, if there are any. I know there are actually, because about 5 minutes ago I literally just checked to see if anybody had commented on the video I did yesterday, and they did. So there's about 5 comments, and I'm going to quickly go through some of the public comments as well, because there were some interesting ones to look at. But yep, that is a screen of a fantasy football team, my team to be precise. And as I always keep saying, I'm addicted to creating content, and whenever I do listen into something that's fantasy football related, basically FPL Juice or Planet FPL, it gets you thinking. And certainly from my point of view, when it comes to my team here, as I keep stating on the streams, I'm pretty happy with the majority of players. Not all, but the majority of the players. The likes of Leno can tick along with Areola, but they can tick along as per normal. There's nothing I need to drastically change with goalkeepers. Trippier, I'm happy with, despite the fact that, by all accounts, he's playing on the right-hand side, or the left-hand side, whatever. Either way, he's playing in his unfavoured position, but I'm happy to stick with him. Lascelles is another one. Obviously, there was news yesterday that came out about Botman. He's training well. That means nothing, to be honest with you. I don't think, unless he's a fool, Eddie Howe is willing to bring back a player who has suffered 2 bad injuries and then just go, yep, go on, crack on, get straight into the first team. I don't think it'll work like that. So that's something worth for me to monitor. But right now, I'm okay with Lascelles. Matty Cash is the first cross. I haven't got Jason's technology to be able to just put a cross up on the screen. He's the first individual in my team who I kind of want to start slowly moving out my team. Son, Salah, Bowen. Obviously, Bowen was my transfer in this week. Perfectly happy with them, obviously. Martinelli, this injury news, I think it's more the fact that, because I was listening into the commentary for that game, Arsenal versus Burnley, and they just said that it was cramp. He just pulled up a cramp. That's what they just said. And then Arteta just took him off. Now, unless Arteta's actually come out and said, nope, he's actually got a muscle injury, which may be just words to say to the Brazilian squad, he's not injured. Wink, wink. What was that? I think that he'll be fine for the Brentford game. Obviously, Jesus has been sent out to Brazil because their medical team think that they can work wonders on him, which is interesting because despite the fact that I do not think that even if Jesus played for Brazil, for argument's sake, I don't think he comes straight back into the Arsenal first team, despite being a first team player. I don't think he just immediately comes back in the game for Brentford. It will still be Trossard. Unfortunately for Trossard owners, Jason, if Jesus is fit, Trossard will just be slowly eased back out the squad again. Now, from my personal point of view, that tells me that, let's just say for argument's sake, Jesus plays a few minutes for Brazil, just for argument's sake. So he's fit. He won't play against Brentford. Arteta will probably, if anything, come out and say, Brazil, you're scumbags. Why the fuck did you allow Jesus to play? I told him he wasn't fully fit, and he's come back to us, and he's still not fit enough. How dare you play him? So I don't think he plays any minutes against Brentford. Then all of a sudden on the Wolves game, he's on the bench, and then he comes on the 70th minute. Then by the Luton game, again, he's on the bench and he comes on even earlier. And then by the Aston Villa game, where it's a very important game, if not, including Brighton or even Liverpool, at that point, it's like, right, I need Jesus back in the team. So I don't think we see Jesus starting till at the earliest, 9th of December when they play Aston Villa. That's at the earliest. Because I know fuck all, he'll probably play against Brentford and Trossard's bench. God, and Jason. I mean, Jason's transfers, if you don't know, they were... who was it again? A Bulldog, Trossard, and Palmer in. He is benching Palmer because Jason's team is just too good, which it is. He's got a very, very strong squad, Jason. In fact, ironically, Jason's got Haaland and Salah in his team, but his team is so good that he's now got a benching headache that the Haaland non-owners have. So, you know, from my point of view, it'd be funny if Jason benches the wrong player and obviously whoever's on the bench comes through the points, but whatever. For now, I think Jason's transfers are very, very, very good indeed. We then move on to Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz for me is a problem. He, excuse me. He is somebody which I brought in thanks to his supposedly critical to the Aston Villa way of play. He's on penalties, we know that for fact. He's on set pieces, we know that for fact. 5.5 million that I've got him out, 5.6, whatever. He's there. However, I see more potential in Palmer. But for now, with my prediction for the Tottenham versus Aston Villa game being either... So I'm going to be 2-2, 3-2 either way, or 3-1 either way. And I'm sorry to say this, if you are a Tottenham fan, not that you give a flying fuck what I think, Brew, I think that Aston Villa may actually potentially win this 3-1. Potentially. Their away results, if I was to bring it up here, are as follows in the Premier League. So, away from home, they lost 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. They drew 1-1 with Wolves. They beat Chelsea 1-0. So basically, they don't seem to score many goals away from home. Until they played Burnley, of course, when they beat us 3-1. But they also lost to Newcastle 5-1. So, it looks like it's in Tottenham's favour, seeing as they've got a really, really good home record. So maybe it'll be 3-1 to Tottenham on that beautiful counter-attack where Kulusevski, Son, Bentancur if he ever plays, Lo Celso, Johnson, Richarlison. Richarlison, that fraud. Good God. Watch him score for Brazil. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I think that'll be even though I'm expecting goals, I think it'd be still like a tight encounter. It's not going to be like the 4-4 between Man City and Chelsea where it's just end to end. I think that it's just going to be a very tactical, astute game in which potentially again Aston Villa could exploit Tottenham's high line, potentially if Postecoglou, was that his name? If he decides to play that high line. But either way, I'm relatively happy with Douglas Luiz. Alvarez, he's another cross on my list. Then there's Nketiah. So on the bench, if I scroll down here, we have Nketiah. With Nketiah, Tsimikas, and Kabore. Once again, they can stay there, but Nketiah is a big problem for me. Thankfully, I've made a profit. I profit on that. A 0.1 profit, so I can actually still get a price drop on him. Tsimikas is Tsimikas, Kabore is Kabore. But the thought processes out loud as I speak are Douglas Luiz. I want to definitely be turning into Martinelli. Yeah, we'll turn him into Martinelli. I want to turn him into Mbeumo. And then it would be Nketiah down to Semenyo. That is what I want to do. That is kind of like the plan that I've got in my head at the moment. However, the problem is that I think I'm 0.2 short of that, unfortunately. So I can't do it. And in game week 14, I don't really want to be doing a -8, but if it's absolutely necessary for me to get rid of Nketiah, who will never be playing for Arsenal again, Douglas Luiz, who is going to be a bit of the problem, but because I'll be upgrading into Mbuemo with his really good fixtures, I'll be happy with him. Matty Cash has got really poor fixtures. I think it will just be a case of just get it done. Get rid of Matty Cash. Get rid of Douglas Luiz. Get rid of Nketiah for that -8. Sack it off and set up your next several game weeks with the team that you've got, because Brentford have got some really good fixtures. Like really good fixtures upcoming, and Bremo's on fire at the moment as well. I was really tempted to potentially, if I actually hear news on Martinelli not playing, I may do Martinelli and Luiz out for Trossard and Mbuemo. That's what I may do. So we shall wait and see on the Martinelli news. But like I said, Martinelli's going to be absolutely fine, I think, and yeah. I don't see any issues with that. So yeah, on to the old comments from you guys on the members videos. Here we go. But there was some feedback actually on the one that's released publicly. So remember now, these videos, because of you guys, you're the ones that... Sorry, 3 of you. 3 members out of... how many members watch these videos average? It's about 70... These members' videos get approximately 70 views, average. And, like I said, not many of the members comment for some reason anymore. Probably because they're sick to death of them. But there were 3 people that just said, look, just do whatever you need to do to push the channel. And it seems to be within reason working. Just to highlight a few comments. Once I can go back to the stupid page, which is here. So we had someone here, someone called Crow Eater. Thanks, I enjoyed that video. Matt Orib saying, rarely comment on videos, but I found your channel a couple of weeks ago into the season, and I've been watching almost every video since. Thank you very much. Thank you. Love the content. Don't change. Love from Canada. That's where my cousin is. That's where my cousin's from as well. Runo is saying, channel gaining followers, Stevo and Jace. You the man, as Jeremy says in Peep Show. Football is just very good, saying, here's a generic sarcastic comment here. Nick Turner saying, great. Is that Nick as in Nick? I think it is Nick as in FPL Juice Nick. Yeah, Nick Turner, yeah. Or Nocturnal. Who's that? There's a band called Nocturnal. Terrible. Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much. Wrestling Gimmick saying, loving the shirt. Yeah, that's from Chain Wrestling. They do their own... here's an advert. Can't be doing that. Chain Wrestling. You can't be Chain Wrestling. It's free. Free postage and packaging. Yeah, Chain Wrestling, the podcast I adore, which you should check out. They do their own merchandise, and there are certain selections of designs that I really, really like, and obviously this is one of them, the WCW one. So yeah, go and make sure you go and check out Chain Wrestling and their merchandise. They're on Twitter as well. I think that's where that is where the link is for their merchandise. FPL Bateman, is that the same FPL Bateman from Twitter? I'm assuming it is. Saying the generic, I prefer a flan. Check out the Office podcast, that I do on Total Steve on Spotify. Check it out. There was a comment from Craig. I think it's Craig. And he said, why not do videos about your days as a Tesco driver? And I just said, just go on the Total Stevo podcast feed on Spotify, because there's hundreds of them. I think I did. I couldn't even tell you how many Total Stevo podcasts there are on my days at either shop floor or delivery driver. There's hundreds. I do So the way the Total Steeler podcast work is that I do series. So the series are specifically the specific subject matters about something that I enjoy. So season 1 was about my musical journey, but season 1 is terrible. It's really, really bad. I was just kind of learning the ropes, and a lot of the music choices were all done through YouTube. So it sounds terrible because I didn't have Spotify then, or I did, but I wasn't paying for it. And then I decided, actually, let's just give Spotify a go for free. Nothing beats free. Gave their trial a free go, and I thought, actually, I really do need this. And I've been a subscriber to Spotify ever since. And yeah, during series 1, I was kind of like occasionally doing the odd podcast on wrestling that I was watching at the time, so the Attitude Era. But really, it was my musical journey. Then series 2, I generally can't remember what series 2 was. I can't for the life of me think. And then series 3 is me covering the WWE 2011 era, the rise of CM Punk, which was absolutely atrocious. I hated it. The only thing I liked about it was the CM Punk stuff during the summer of 2011. So between, I think, so it was Money in the Bank, basically, that era. That whole John Cena versus CM Punk stuff was absolutely phenomenal. And then it just died a death, and I had to stop at around... So I started in January, Royal Rumble, and I stopped at around... It must have been September, October time. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't watch it anymore. I just was wasting my life. It was appalling. It really was appalling. The only thing I got out of it was just Booker T impressions. And sometimes I think, whenever I do the Booker T impressions from Booking the Territory, I think, am I going a bit over the top here? And I think, nope. The actual Booker T during 2011 was just absolutely mental. Like, just insane. And yeah, so I stopped doing that. And then series 4, which is out now, I'm looking back at The Office, but I'm kind of relating to real life work. So for argument's sake, comparing myself to Neil and how I used to deal with staff, situations with David Brent getting, which I've got involved in, and it just goes on and on and on. And a lot of it involves me, just like I say, talking about anecdotes that The Office reminds me of. And then when I go into extras, I'm really, really looking forward to extras, because I'm kind of going to be putting myself into the shoes of Andy Millman as a struggling YouTube channel that grows to winning the Football Content Award, which actually happened, by the way. For anybody that doesn't know, we did actually win in 2020 the Best Fantasy Football Channel. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be kind of like my idea. But like, I'll give you just a basic example. It will be like, I always do this line where, from extras, where Andy Millman's speaking to his mates, and he's at the theatre, and there's me as Andy Millman, and I'm speaking with the FPL Juice guys, and they're just talking to me about, what are you doing here? Oh, we just thought we'd come down and watch you doing your live show for YouTube. And I went, oh, you don't want to watch any of this. It's just me swearing and getting really, really angry. No, we're really looking forward to it. Steve-O! Oh, what are you inviting those FPL freaks for? Fans. You get the idea with that. As I keep saying, yeah, hilarious, Steve-O. But there's other ones, like, for instance, the Grant Mitchell, the Ross Kemp episode, where I sit down and I'm doing some form of collaboration with somebody, and there's just FPL mate sat there, and I double to look. Hi, I saw you looking. FPL mate, nice to meet you. Hi, yeah. As you can imagine, you're probably in awe of me. And then, yeah. You get the idea with that. But I'm really looking forward to doing the Extras podcast, because Extras is my favourite sitcom. I think mainly because it's a sitcom actually about Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant's career when doing The Office. And then in series 2, it's just basically XFM brought to life. That's all it is. And I just find it I'm deliberately not watching extras because I don't want to, quote, spoil it for me when I actually revisit it, even though I've seen it 30,000 times, and I will happily go upstairs now and watch an episode. I'm just kind of waiting until The Office is over and then go into the extras. I mean, extras may even be just series 5. And I just can't get enough of it. It just makes me smile so much, the show. And if you haven't seen extras, it's on BBC iPlayer. And I think most people would probably appreciate extras more than they would with The Office, because The Office is kind of pretty... Well, they're both subjective to watch, but I think extras is more appealing to the general audience because it's just... A lot of it's quite silly humour. Even my mum could watch it. Like, I remember being back at home and just watching extras on TV. Even my mum laughed at the stupid things that Darren Land does, as a simple example. But yeah, and then you know, so if you want to check any of that out, by all means, it's on Spotify, Total Stevo, and yeah, and just to make a point as well, there's lots of public comments here, and I do want to say just thank you for. I'll be here all day reading them, and I haven't actually got that much time today to do a video, so I do want to address like the members' stuff as well. But just quickly hear from someone called James Lacey. Stevo, most of us are working class like yourself, mate. You are one of us, and that's why we love watching you. You say what we all think, and yeah, look, the reality is like I received a private message from an individual that I have a lot of respect for, and they took offence to something I said, but I just kind of made the point that I wasn't going out my way to offend anybody. It was just the way I talk, and he understood this, and that was it. But this is the truth of the matter. I'm just a normal bloke sat in a living room, as Tim says, sat in a living room in a house share with a bunch of people I don't know, in a job I get by with, and yeah, that's all I am. And I'm happy to just do these videos because I enjoy creating content. Like I said, I'm addicted to it, and it's whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know, whatever. But I just appreciate the fact that people are actually going out their way just to enjoy this content, and with the members especially that are happy to support the channel. I mean, funny enough, we were talking about Billy Mayhem yesterday. Oh yeah. Good old Billy Mayhem. He, it was just cringeworthy. He was talking about how, like, he had his GoPro broken. Fair enough. His GoPro camera was broken, so he said, unfortunately for you guys, the camera quality is going to be shit. And I'm thinking, it looks exactly the same. The only difference is you're recording it on your mobile phone. There's no difference in quality. Maybe someone like Jason or someone that's in that world will be able to see the difference. But for someone like me that's just watching, lying in my bed, watching on TV, it's fine. And then he just started like talking about some nonsense regarding YouTube again and how they're demonetizing. I'm just like, again, I go back to it. What are you doing this for? Are you doing this for you? And then you're just happily putting out on the public forum, which is what me, Dan and Jason did. And then members of the public from quite literally any part of the world, like this gentleman here from Canada, can watch it and they just enjoy it for what it is. Or do you just go, nope, I'm doing it for YouTube because I want the money? What's it to be? And it's very similar to Andy Millman, isn't it? In fact, there's another sketch for you. The question is, what do you want to do? Do you want to do this for the people and vlogging for the people of their enjoyment, or do you want to just do it for the money? I want both. Well, I've got some bad news for you, Billy Mayhem. There are only a few people in this world that can do that, and you're not one of them. So what's it to be? I want to do it for the money. Good! I'm glad we've got somebody that wants to admit they're doing YouTube just for the money. Right then, will you do no swearing in your videos anymore? Yeah. Will you do those stupid adverts about pubic hair shaving? Yeah. Good! Isn't it easy now? There's only one person that understands that, it's Tyler, and he's probably not even watching. Anyway, on to the members, where Gabriel de Rop, he actually caught the bit about, oh, and I've seen everything, as Patrick Stewart from Extras. We've got another fan. Interesting that Ray Qureshi saying here, interesting that major FPL content creators, do I dare say this publicly? Let me just read this first. I'm not willing to read that out, Ray, but because this is going out public. Essentially what he's saying here is, in fact, I'm just going to skip over that. Gloss over that. It's generally a shame that people in the community... Do you know what? Fuck it, I'll just read it. He just says here, interesting that major FPL content creators are members, but they stay silent. Again, it seems they want to stay squeaky clean and continue playing the character. I disagree with that. I personally think with any content creator out there, whether it's yourself, whether it's myself, whether it's whomever, they can talk about whatever they want in their videos or interviews or whatever, and the reality of the situation is that someone like me or Jason, who have got a channel in which we talk absolute nonsense about anything, whether it's to do with FPL, or whether it's to do with football, i.e. Man United or Burnley, or whether it's to do with shows that we enjoy. That's our market. But when it comes to other large content creators, whether it is Andy Let's Talk FPL, whether it is Jeff Marshall, whether it is Tom the Taxi Man, Mr. Reed, I don't expect these guys to be talking about other large content creators, sorry, more specifically, other content creators they listen to, because they don't need to. It's not, like, could you imagine, for argument's sake, Andy's there doing a spiel about transfer plans. These are the players I'm thinking of bringing in. Oh, and by the way, while I was bored at home on Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, I was tuning into Elite FPL, check him out. It ain't going to happen, because he shouldn't do that. I wouldn't even want him to do that, to be quite frank with you. I've always maintained this point, though, with any content creator. If you enjoy something, then I always say just put it out on social media. I'm not holding a gun to these people's heads and saying do it, but that's why I always make the point with members especially, or the hardcore Elite FPL community. It's all well and good saying comments on the live stream. Great. It just continues the flow of the conversation and you're adding to what's necessarily said. But actually, me and Jason would afterwards prefer you to write as Football Just There said, some generic comment after the stream, because ironically that's what pushes the YouTube algorithm, because it's telling YouTube that you're engaging with the video and you're happy to write a comment. Whereas unfortunately with Elite FPL as an example, it's just silence. No one writes any comments. It's maybe 2, 3. I mean, I'm doing it now with the members videos. Members comments have gone from roughly 10 or 12 down to 4, 5. Now, I could argue, well, maybe none of the members want to write a comment, which is fair enough. But considering the members' content is usually directed at them specifically, or it's content that usually most of them want to talk about, or things, subject matters that I'm talking about. Now, I've said this before, I know for a fact there are members that do not watch any of it because they hate it. They've actually specifically said, I can't stand it. Fair enough. But that's a very, very small percentage of the members. So, and then releasing it to the public when you see the comments coming through, it's very interesting to see that clearly we're having an impact, or they're having an impact on various people. And like I say, if you enjoy the stuff, just go on Twitter or whatever social media feed you use and just write, I've only just discovered this channel recently. If you like bullshit chat, real honest conversation about real life issues, plus some FPL, check out Elite FPL. Now, I know for fact last night, for instance, on FPL Juice, there were 2 Elite FPL contributors on the show, because I heard Nick calling them out. In fact, Ash actually said specifically, Gravy Dave, I don't recognise the name. Welcome. Well, Gravy Dave is part of this community. Now, I'm not saying he's exclusively part of Elite FPL, but I'm pretty willing to bet, I could be completely wrong, but I'm willing to bet that Gravy Dave went to watch their live stream because I've been banging on about FPL Juice every single stream video for the past 6 months. I could be completely wrong. It could be just by pure coincidence, but I doubt it. And I don't know what Gravy Dave would have put in the chat or anything, but as I keep saying, if you're in a live stream and it's of a brand new content creator and they say, and you say, "Hi guys, this is the first time I'm watching. I've been recommended this channel by Elite FPL." Brilliant. At least that person knows, oh, that's really cool. Elite FPL have recommended our channel. It's the same if someone came into our chat and said, FPL Juice recommended me to come over and watch and I'm really enjoying the content. Thank you. And it's just a nice way of it. It's like a tag team, isn't it? You're just exchanging with one another. Whereas, like Jason quite rightly said, like, we don't want people going over into streams and going, "You must come and watch Elite FPL." There's an Ian McKellen joke in there. "You are not really John." That is my favourite line. "You are not really an FPL content creator. You must remember, you are a character." I know. "How do you know what to say?" "That the data is written down on whoscored.com. How do you know when to say it?" Jason will ask the questions. "How do you know when to read it out properly?" Jason will give you the cue. Let me give you a process of how that you get the idea with that. So yeah, I do not want ever an individual of Elite FPL spamming someone else's content and just going, "Come to Elite FPL." No, that's awful. And even if someone did that to us, "Come to FPL Juice, you must come in." I'd even tell them, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?" That's very, very disrespectful. So, yeah, like I say, with any large content creator, again, does AFTV, does Mark Goldbridge, just to use two examples, go out their way to mention other channels to watch? No. Let's get real here. They may occasionally. It's very rare. Very, very rare. And that was just the first sentence by Ray. It is genuinely a shame that people in the community don't break out of their shell sometimes, but the algorithm limits them making 10p for fuck's sake. Oh yeah, it's not just FPL, it's all YouTube content creators. They will do anything to try and make 10p, 50p, a pound, £4. I always remember looking at when we did used to monetize, and I'd look at a stream and it'd be, I don't know, like 1,000 views total. And I looked at the monetization, it said, from this stream, you will make this is what it said, you will make anywhere between 2p and 60p. So let's just say it's 60p. Wow, we streamed for 2.5 hours, and YouTube, they don't have to, by the way, but because we're monetizing it, YouTube are going to give us 60p. Ooh. Now, don't get me wrong, me and Jason were never adhering to any form of ruling or anything, but unfortunately, after a period of time, and once you know you've been shadow banned, it's kind of like, so we've been shadow banned because we used the C word or the F word or the S word. So I can't be myself then. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. I'd rather just do videos like this and just be myself than not earn 60p. 60p for 2 hours work. I could find 60p on the fucking street, and I do as well. I wore the kids to school. The amount of times I have to say, head up. Oh, this is regarding phones, yeah. Head up to people staring at their phones. It's tragic. And I don't move out of their way. Yeah, it is awful. The phone usage of some people. Bret Hart's bitterness has the jealous ex vibe. Yeah, absolutely. He should just let go. Everybody has been exposed and apologies have been made. He is, though, part of my top 3 favourite wrestlers ever. Funnily enough, he would be in the table of 3 with CM Punk and The Rock, and Ray did private message me a voice message about that. Jojo is asking, Well, he's saying here, sounds like you need out of the rat race and move out of London ASAP. Yeah, the plan is pretty much this time next year, I'll be gone. That's pretty much the plan. Coincidentally, I was having a conversation with my housemate and his friend that was round here last night, and we were just all agreeing, we're all in our 30s, and we were all just agreeing with one another that it's just shit, basically. There's nothing else I can say. It used to be a vibrant, really cool place to live, things to do, but this is without me even enticing the conversation. This is someone coming to me, by the way. Someone's saying this to me. I was just talking about my job, and then I just made the point about wanting to leave London in a year or whatever, and they just said, oh, why is that? And then we just kind of like talked, and then he said, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, ever since coronavirus, and then we just started talking about that because it's true. Anyway, he says, go on, what were you getting from Holland and Barrett? So I bought vitamin D tablets, because Mind Pump tells me to do so. So vitamin D tablets, and I bought 2 bags of my usual protein I get, which are £10 off, which is fucking insane. So I bought 2 bags. I would have bought 4, but plus I get NHS discount as well. It's only £18 a bag, which is just disgusting. So yeah, they got a Black Friday sale on. Haxlet's saying here, definitely a lot of cash grabbing soul sellers out there, mate. Great vid, by the way. Yeah, I've already just discussed it. There are a lot of people that are just, willing to sell, well, more specifically, not be themselves to earn 60p. 60p. In fact, remember, that's a tiny little small YouTube channel on Elite FPL that's getting, say, 1,000 views a video or a stream. What do you think it's like for the people that are only, I know for a fact, that we're getting 200, 300 views? A penny? 30p? Like, it's just ridiculous. PK7 here, he's always got something to say. A great view as always. It certainly sounds tricky with the work and social side of everything. It's not exactly like you work in an office in which it seems everyone's at it. It's easy to build genuine relationships, would turn into relationships on a deep level, i.e. boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, etc. Yeah, so I am in the office environment. I was watching the Christmas edition of The Office, preparing myself for when I start recording them, and the bit where he says that I am in the office environment, if I want to fax someone, I just phone up Paula, and then it's just the way he eats the ginster's pasty. It's just ridiculous. And I just sat there, just laughing my fucking head off at David Brent just eating a pasty. Fucking insane. Yeah, and I've completely forgotten what. Oh yeah, the office environment, etc. Yeah, it's when you're doing a job like in an office, etc. I mean, I see it now because I've never been in office environments until right now. Yeah, at Tesco's, you've got people in an office, but they're not there. It's not like an office environment like I see now in the NHS, where I just look around and, like, the other day, for example, I was on the top floor of the main hospital, and I just looked around and I'm just like, this is morbid. You've got, again, I'm not being horrible, but people, shall we say, that are overweight. And also, there was 5 of them in an office which could seat about 9. And all just sat around, just on their little headsets. And there was just nothing about that environment where I thought, wow, this is vibrant, this is fun. It just seemed like such a miserable existence. And even when people were trying to, like, because I was watching this, so I love observing people. And I was just stood there waiting for whoever to come along. And then I just saw somebody like tap someone on the shoulder, and it was just like this doom and gloom look, like, what? I mean, I'm obviously the office environment has changed a lot since 2002 when The Office was filmed or made, but Yeah, however, because you are in that close-knit environment and everything, obviously you are going to be working with people which are in close proximity to you. You need to talk to them and everything. And whereas in my job, like with Tesco's, you could still do that. The only difference is that when you're flirting with a teenage girl or when you're flirting with one of the MILFs, within 0.2 seconds a customer's going, hello, can you deal with this please, or whatever. Or a manager will come over and go, should you be talking? No, I didn't think so. So could you face up aisle number 3 please? I've just worked for 3 hours straight filling the fucking fresh department. This is my one opportunity to just have a bit of relaxation. Albeit I'm fully aware that I'm talking to a checkout girl here, but I'm just having a laugh because she's bored out of her fucking mind. And now you're telling me to essentially walk away and face up another aisle. Fuck off. And yeah, it's that's one of the few things you can do, at least within Tesco, Sainsbury's or whatever, like basically retail. You do get to have regular conversations with the opposite sex. In this job now that I've got, it's, like I said, it's not impossible. In fact, all the girls are walking to somewhere because they're busy. I'm walking somewhere because I'm busy. And like I said, it's literally like that scene in Superbad where McLovin says to the girl wearing a thong, it's 9:30. What? And then just walks off. Or with, is it Seth? When he's talking to Becca and he he gets knocked into her and he's like, bye, and walks off. That's pretty much... In fact, those 2 examples are literally me. At work. Not literally. Well, no, I've just said literally. It is pretty much literally me. Like, you see an attractive woman approaching you or whatever, and they're walking to wherever, and I'm walking that way, and it's just like, hi, and you just carry on walking. You know, it's kind of within reason. It's not particularly easy just going, so, what you doing today? Filling the baked beans, are you? And then you just take off from there. No, it's not like that at all. PK7 continues, just quickly finishing off here. Thank God, I can already hear someone say, thank God, the word finish. I know your gym doesn't sound like it's at that stage yet, but at my gym, which is also a pure gym, it seems a lot of people socialise and build relationships, so maybe there's a hope from the gym side of it in the near future. Yeah, when I move away from London, you know, without going over it, London's very, very isolated. Everybody is just themselves. It's just pretty much individuals this is the gym environment anyway, that are just more interested in either A, like me, just focusing on training like I was today. Don't disturb me, don't come anywhere near me. I'm listening to Pierce the Veil at the moment. I don't want anybody... In fact, let me just play a bit of Pierce the Veil for a split second. So you can all hear what they sound like. This will get us demonetized. It won't. But I'm just listening into King for a Day, which is one of my favourite Pierce the Veil songs. And all I'm wanting to do is just pick up 60 kilograms, or in today's case, 50 kilograms, put it behind my neck, and essentially just start squatting with it. That's it, basically. Whereas a lot of people... So here's a King for the Day. Yeah, so let's Pierce the Veil. So, yeah, but I've always been like this at a gym, to be fair. I don't want anybody disturbing me when I'm training, because it's my only time I get to myself to train. There are a lot of other people that are very similar like that, where they they don't want to train. But it's the fact, the amount of people I see just talking on a phone. In fact, the most common thing I see when I see someone. So let's just pretend this is the machine here, and this is what will happen, right? So they'll come over. That's a Smith machine. They'll come over. You know what I'm going to do? Come over. Sit down. Haven't even looked at the weight, what's on the bar or anything. They sit there and they do this. They do that for approximately, well, I know exactly how long it is, for 5 minutes. Just sat there staring at a phone. How do I know how long they've been doing this for? Because they've done this in the time that I've started to rest, which is 3 minutes, if not longer, sometimes 5. By the time I've done my exercise, it goes up to, say, 4.5 minutes. They still haven't done anything. I then start doing my rest again, and then they finally start just doing this. And then they just rack it. They don't do anything, and then it's just pull out the phone. That is pretty much the most common thing I see in the gym that I go to. I am thinking, I should have done, I'm not going to now. I recorded a lad on the upright row machine for your back, your rhomboids. And he literally had the phone like that. Like that. And he was just watching some fucking film while he was exercising. I filmed it. It is appalling. And the people that are serious trainers, I don't really want to interact with them because they're serious trainers and I respect their their time to be focused on training. I know what they're thinking. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people which are, like my brother, for example, he's very, very, very sociable. Like, he makes out like he's a miserable bastard. He's not. I'm a miserable bastard. My brother's like Ned Flanders in a way. And he's very social with people. He's happily willing to speak to anybody. I'm not. I just can't be fucked with it. I just want to get in and get out. I've only got, 50 minutes to an hour. I mean, today it took me, again, half an hour just to get to the gym. So, and then I've got 50 minutes to do what I need to do and get out again. I can't be then going up to somebody, start chatting to them, and then it ends up being like a 10-minute chat, 15-minute chat. It just goes on and on and on. So yeah, it's just weird. And like I say, with a lot of girls, unfortunately, especially in the gym world, and specifically the gym that I go to, or any London gym, to be fair. I've been to about 7 or 8 pure gyms in London. All the girls are the same. It's just about, I'm a queen. I'm really popular on Instagram. You can't talk to me. My shit doesn't stink. I'm amazing. I'm really popular online. And I look at them like, you're a cunt. You're nothing special. Yeah, you're in all right shape, but there's a girl that goes to, one that I go to has clearly got some severe body dysmorphia issues, really severe ones, especially about her lower end. And she just looks like a complete freak, to be honest with you. Like, her bottom end is just beyond disproportion to the rest of her body. And why? Because she's doing it for Instagram. It's obvious. Her bum isn't big enough. So it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Where does it stop? I was having this conversation. Well, I wasn't. I was telling my colleague yesterday about one of the guys that I work with who's evidently on steroids. And he went, really? I went, well, for me, I can see it. Maybe for you, as a 50-year-old man, you may not see it. But for me, it's evident that he's on steroids. And he just kind of like was interested in that side of things. And I went, at the end of the day, it's just people with severe body dysmorphia that will do anything to look a way in which they feel that the public should perceive them as, or what they feel the public should perceive them as, and then they should be adhering to their quote audience on Instagram and everything. It's a really severe problem, and yeah, it just fascinates me seeing people with body dysmorphia, and obviously it happens in the gym a lot. In fact, arguably, most people that go to the gym have got body dysmorphia. Obviously, there are people that go there, like myself, that are doing it just for an athletic point of view or whatever, or there are other people that take the sport, they're doing it as a sport. But the majority of people that go to the gym have severe body dysmorphia issues. But then there's some that have the extreme version of body dysmorphia, and it's a serious problem. And like I say, most of the girls that go to the gym, I don't want to talk to any of them because they just come across as pieces of shit, to be honest with you. And they're just not normal. They're not. Like I'd always discussed, I always remember the two individuals that were dating each other. And yeah, it ended within the space of a couple of months, and I could tell why. Because I personally think that the lad was so focused on his training that he didn't really want to spend time with the girl because he's just so focused on his training, and the girl had a child, and it's just all these issues, and they just broke up after 2 months. And then, like I said, now they're in the gym. It's like you know, when you're around people which clearly don't like each other, it's like a really tense atmosphere. You can feel it. So it's like with them two now. Yeah, they talk to each other, but they don't like talking to each other. It's obvious. Obvious as a smack in the face. But anyway, what's this got to do with FPL? Absolutely nothing. As other members, thanks for watching. Really do appreciate the support. And if you are watching this publicly and you enjoy these videos, thanks again for watching them. Make sure you are subscribing and liking if this is if you are watching this as a public video. But yeah, I will get out of here, get down to Lidl's. See you later.